My name is Mark Reeve-Newson, and I'm one of the members here at Site 3 Co-Laboratory. One of my most recent projects is right here. It's Poor Courtesy, and it's a mind-controlled drinking game. The way it works is that you and an opponent put on these Muse headsets. They pick up how strongly you're concentrating by reading your brain waves, send it to this, and then that will tilt this paddle, and whoever concentrates the strongest pours a drink for their opponent. So when I first started the project, it was myself, Paul, and Kate. Paul Shields and I were doing the mechanical and electrical fabrication, and I asked Kate if she could do the programming part of it. And so we got things working for the first iteration. I physically did all the woodworking, some of the, maybe at least half the brasswork, maybe a bit more. So the idea for Poor Courtesy came up on the mailing list. One of our members, Jonathan Guberman, talked about Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. There's the old Jenks spirit, and it would be a bottle and two telepathic beings would try and pour into each other's glasses using, just telekinetic beings, using just the power of their minds. And he thought, hey, that would be really cool, and maybe we could get something like that working for the Halloween party. And a couple of us thought it was a cool idea, and a few different people sort of made attempts, and there's a bit of a mechanical mock-up made, but time and motivation and whatnot, it didn't happen. So then back in May, Absolute Vodka was having their bottle hack maker fest contest thing, and that got passed around the mailing list, and I'm like, took it as motivation to make this project happen, and recruited a bunch of other members. Kate Murphy, Brett Hagman, Callum Hay, they all did programming. So I did the mechanical aspects and some of the electrical. Paul Shields did a bunch of the other electrical and a lot of the electronics.
I'm Paul Shields. Mark and I started talking about this around the Halloween party. I did some initial exploration into feasibility for the machine, a little bit of Arduino research. Could I read EEGs from these headsets? And round about Christmas, I think I got things sort of running in a preliminary state. Now, in addition, I made an electronic circuit that manually controls the servo if all else fails. And that manual circuit is mounted on the inside behind there. So this controller will do that without having the complexity of the microcontroller or running the game.
We built sort of the first iteration for Absolute Maker Fest competition that was in Toronto, and that was using some hacked, controllers for a game that you can get at Walmart, but the readings on that were crap. A bad power supply caused the expensive servo in here to blow up, but despite that, we won that competition. Then there was a big party for the winners from Montreal, Vancouver, and Toronto back in August, and by that time, we'd upgraded to Muse headsets from Interaxon, which give much better readings, replaced the servo, added a little bit more brass and some functional decorations to it. And so we had it working sort of for the first iteration, and then Kate had a job in Vancouver she had to go to, so she couldn't do the programming with the Muses. So I asked Callum to, and he really came through, even though he's really busy. Made that happen.
I'm Callum Hay, and I did the software development for Poor Courtesy. I was brought in very much towards the end of the project as a hope to develop the software for it. We were taking on new hardware. The Muses were required in order to do the brainwave recognition, and so I built all of the software and the environment required to do the heavy lifting to take the information from the Muses and make use of it on the Arduino. The data from the Muses is pretty good. They are parsing apart whatever data they're getting from the sensors, and they're sending it and breaking it into alpha, beta, and various other waveforms that are actually, I would argue, empirically verifiably decent. And so yeah, we were able to make good use of the information that they're sending and make a game out of it.
Or on the computer programming side, that was Callum doing it. And then on the Arduino side, because there's a little Arduino in here that actually controls the lights, controls the servo, and the game runs on that. That was Brett Hagman. And he put together some code. He never actually came into the shop for it, I don't think, when we were building it. He did it all on GitHub, and then was managing and I think logging in remotely or having me upload whatever the latest versions of the code were, and we were doing this over Google Chat or Talk or whatever it's called. So yeah, some remote work on his part and some very essential programming on the Arduino side. Yeah, he came through, helped out with that. Callum was doing programming up until the last minute, but we got it working about an hour after the party started. That was though due to Bluetooth issues and nothing to do with what any of us had done.
Yeah, something to say about getting it working that close to the deadline. Most of what it took to get it working was not software, it was hardware. The Bluetooth of both of the devices was very flaky and very difficult to deal with. What it came down to is me sitting down on a bench, for about an hour, pressing buttons and just trying to get devices to pair with a computer. And so that had nothing to do with the software development, and it had everything to do with the hardware.
I hadn't really expected any of this to be easy. Some I thought would be straightforward, some I thought would be complicated. The programming that Callum, Kate, and Brett took care of, all sort of voodoo, and I, conceptually at least, take readings, send readings, compare readings, tilt, bit of programming for the displays. I didn't think that would be too hard. Like I could conceive of that, but I don't know the nitty-gritty for that. Nothing was really easy, but some stuff was straightforward. Well, Site 3 is having a Halloween party, and so this will definitely be at the party, and come get your Zen on and play a game.